Hi everyone, welcome back for the second part of the fairy tale The Frog Prince. So the last time we read the story, the princess lost her ball, and so the frog says that he will get her ball for her as long as she is his friend and shares things with him. And she thinks, okay, I'll trick him and I'll get my ball back and I won't be his friend. But the frog shows up at the castle and her mom and dad say, or the king says, that you need to keep your promises and let the frog in. So we're about to see what happens next with the princess and the frog. Unwillingly, the princess allowed the frog into the magnificent palace. He bounced up and down as frogs will when they are very happy, but she only glared at him dreadfully. So the princess gave the frog an angry look. Why do you think she glared at the frog, or why do you think she's angry? Let's find out. She thought to herself, why should I have to keep my promise to this old croaker just because he fetched my ball from the well? Her father insisted, however, that she should be his friend, just as she said she would. The frog hopped after her into the great dining hall, boing, boing, and immediately jumped onto the table. So, princess, he said, we shall be the best of friends now. With a contented croak, or a happy croak, he began to eat from his shining gold plate and sparkling silver bowl. Frogs do not eat very neatly, I'm afraid, and the princess noticed how he smeared the food all over his face, turning away in disgust. She refused to look at the frog or speak to him, but she still felt sick just thinking of such an ugly creature eating with her. How would you feel about a frog eating with you? I don't think I'd like it very much. What a lovely golden plate, the frog remarked. It reminds me of your ball. You have such beautiful possessions. So possessions means belongings or things. So like toys would be a possession. Must be nice to be a princess and have everything you want. If I had everything I wanted, the princess retorted, you would not be eating with me. So retorted means to respond. So she's saying, she's responding to him. She's talking to the frog. The frog ignored her rudeness. May I have a drink from your cup? He asked politely. The princess was about to refuse, but her father caught her eye, and so she nodded. The frog drank thirstily. Perhaps it was because of the long hop from the well to the palace doors. Would you like to drink now, princess? He asked, nudging the cup back in her direction. You must be joking, she snapped. Princesses do not drink after yucky frogs. The frog sighed and continued eating, but soon he began to look sleepy. I'm tired, princess, he said. Will you take me up to bed? I could never have such a slimy frog in my bed, the princess burst out. Her father was about to scold her, but the frog beat him to it. Oh, careful, careful, Princess Fair. Promises are more than air. What could the princess do? She had promised, so she ran up the stairs to her bedroom, and all the way up she could hear the frogs hopping behind her, boing, boing, and leaving little muddy footprints, splish, splash, on the castle floor. She opened the door to her bedroom. The beautiful princess and the ugly frog stood in the doorway, looking at the princess's lovely room, hung with silk curtains, beautiful paintings, and jeweled lamps. A thick, soft goose feather quilt lay across her cozy bed, and a full, plump pillow waited to support the princess's pretty head. The princess left the frog at the door and climbed in her beautiful bed. She wished the frog would go away, but he sat on the floor looking up at her. I want to sleep on your pillow, the frog said. The princess shook her head. No, please, you can sleep anywhere you want, just not on my bed. Please, you are just too disgusting, and you'll leave slime on my pillow. I want the pillow, the frog insisted. You promised you would share everything with me. The princess pleaded and cried, but nothing would change the frog's mind. You promised, he said, and promises are more than air. Finally, she had to give in. Frustrated, she climbed down and tossed the frog roughly onto the pillow, then climbed back into bed herself. She tried to keep as far away from her new friend as possible. I wish you'd just go away, she hissed in the darkness. The frog was silent for a long minute, then he whispered, Princess, there's one more thing. The princess groaned. Could I have a good night kiss? I've been a very lonely frog, and you did promise you would love me. The princess was so exhausted that she did not even bother to argue. In the dark, she rolled over and planted one kiss on top of the frog's cold, wet head. Now, please go to sleep, she begged. Good night, croaked the frog. The next morning, the princess woke to find the frog still snoring on the pillow. The princess watched him sleeping for some time. She began to feel impatient for him to wake up. So impatient means she doesn't want to wait. She's tired of waiting. The moment his little webbed feet touched the ground, however, the warty frog, whoops. It was so quiet without him croaking away. Finally, she poked him hard with her finger. Get up, you lazy toad, she said. The frog did not stir, so with the palm of her hand, she gave him a rough shove that sent him sliding off the pillow and onto the cold stone floor of her bedroom. The moment his little webbed feet touched the ground, however, the warty frog disappeared, and in his place sat a little prince, rubbing his eyes sleepily and smiling at the princess. So how do you think the princess felt when she saw the prince? Let's find out. Hello, princess. Thank you so much for keeping your promise. Who are you? She asked, very surprised. Why, I'm the frog, he responded. A wicked witch living in the forest turned me into an ugly frog, and only you could save me. I knew that your heart was just as golden as your plate and your ball, and I was right. Now I am free of her spell. He looked at her. Thank you, princess. Now I'll leave you alone and go back to my home on the other side of the forest. Wait, said the princess. I thought we were supposed to be friends forever after, and promises are more than air, you know. The prince laughed. So they are. Shall we go play with your ball? And together they ran down the stairs with the bright golden sunshine. They were friends forever after, and they were quite grown up. They were married with great celebration and joy. They invited the entire kingdom to their wedding, not to mention a number of frogs that the prince had met during his long enchantment. So enchantment would be like a spell. They lived happily ever after, and of course, and the princess was always glad that she had kept her promise. So, what is something, let me rephrase that. Why do you think it's important to keep your promises? And what is something that you learned from the Frog Prince? I know that you can't answer me directly, so maybe put your answers in the comments or go and talk to your mom, dad, grandma, brother, sister about the story you just heard and why you think it's important to keep our promises.